This is the realest show out.
You did the opposite of what I think most people do. Sometimes it can be kind of scary to just put yourself out there.
That's real. That's raw. That's exactly what we're looking for. We look forward to connecting with you guys on all of our social media platforms. The way to support us is to like and comment on all your favorite episodes. And please don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notifications for the next Gut Check Uncut. What's up, everybody? Todd Special here, co-host of Gut Check. Got B-Bisc in the house.
Let's do it, bro.
What's happening, man? I mean, this guy, dude, he's a fucking rock star. He's funny
I'm
as
actually
shit.
really excited. Yeah, I'm a fan. Fanboy.
But he's done a lot. Like, let's talk a little about it. He's an actor, a writer, a comedian. The guy does podcasts. I mean, he's been on the big screen in a movie called I'm Not Like That No More. He's written for shows like Gabriel Iglesias' Presents Stand Up Revolution, Latino 101, Front Row. He's a comedian. He's been on Stand Up Revolution, The Stand NYC, and many other massive stages. He's known for hosting BarstoolSports.com's weekly show $20 Chef, which receives over 1 million views a week and has shot over 400 episodes. He's been on multiple podcast shows with Pat McAfee, the Shaun Latham Show, and currently the co-host of Guns Blazing Podcast. His television debut was on season 1 of Comedy Central's Stand Up Revolution and was brought back on season 3 in 2014 and was also in 2015 named as the top 5 comics to watch. Let's welcome Mr. Shaun Latham.
What's up, brother? Introduction, bro.
Oh, I forgot I did a lot of that stuff.
Is that the weed or?
What's up, fellas?
Nada, man. We're super glad to have you on, man. I mean, just so you know, the Gut Check platform, man, it's raw. It's real. You can say whatever the fuck you want to say, and we're just gonna have some fun with it, dude. So tell us a little bit about Shaun Latham, man. You've done a lot of shit, bro.
You know what? It's just where the comedy takes you, you know? You just roll with the jokes and then shit just comes along. Yeah. And it just, there's like no rhyme or reason to it. Like I'm doing commentary on ESPN for cornhole, and I work with the American Cornhole League too, as well as, $20 Chef and my podcast. Yeah, it's just been a hell of a last 10, I'd say shit started getting, started popping off in like 010, 08, like 09, 010, shit started, scattering little cool little things started happening outside of the stand-up. But the stand-ups that's the best part. Like nothing tops it. Nothing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what's the story of Shaun Latham, man? I mean, everybody sees you on all these platforms, dude. If they don't know who you are, they're a fucking idiot, and they will now. But at the end of the day, it's like, what's your story, man? Where'd you come from? Did you come from what kind of upbringing? Where'd you grow up? I mean, tell us a little bit about you personally, man.
No, I grew up. I'm from Los Angeles originally, but we moved around a lot as a kid, and I don't know if that's where the need to like catch the funny part of attention, like where people think you're funny as opposed to anything else. But I lived I left California like second grade, I think, maybe second grade, Ohio for a few years because of my mom. We had family there, and then she had gotten remarried, so we ended up leaving there after a few years. Lived in Alabama for a year, then moved back to California. Lived in South Carolina for a few years. Just kind of I left but when I was 15, we moved to Arizona, and I lived there until I was 25, and that's how I started stand up. I went in Yuma, Arizona. I was working at a prison for a couple of years. Because, in high school in Yuma, Arizona, I really didn't have I wasn't like a book kid. I wasn't planning on going to college outside of like community college, like I went to Arizona Western College, and a lot of people in my school did it. It was a great jump off point also for saving money, but I didn't know what I really wanted to do. And then I was just doing graphic design, just getting good at Photoshop and shit, which I still use to this day for promotional shit. But
make Brandon look any better or no?
No, probably not. Dude, it's fucking impossible.
It's gonna be tough, but I think with some Gauzy and Blur.
Gauzy and Blur. Dude. Used to call me in high school. Fucking Gauzy and Blur.
This is a favorite podcast. Yeah, this is fucking great. Like you can't fix Brandon. I mean, I don't know.
No.
But
can't fix something that ain't broke. You know what I mean?
You got that. That's a sweet ass forehead though. So
yes, dude, I love this. So scale of 1 to 10. I mean, how big do you think his forehead really is in person?
We have a competition of who actually has the bigger forehead.
He thinks mine's the same. It's not. Your fucking forehead is way big.
It's an optical illusion. Yours is just as big as mine. We're going to bring out a fucking tape.
I'm going to be honest. I feel like the more I go back and forth from forehead to forehead, I'm like banging with my good eye, bang, bang, bang. It looks like the only thing is that, he's got the more hair on top. So it gives I think he is right. The optical illusion that it's larger because of the hair.
Yeah. 100%.
But again, I think if we bust out the tape measure right now, we're looking at a goddamn dead heat here.
Yes.
Oh man, well that's much bigger too.
I love that shit.
So you were at fucking AZ. You got into comedy. I mean, how did it start? What was the first gig, man? I mean,
the very, very, very first one. Well, after I got fired from the sheriff's department for got a DUI, I was about to be a cop, and then that shit went. Once you get a DUI, they kind of frown on that. The Department of Public Safety there in Arizona. And I moved to Phoenix, and I just got just doing restaurant jobs, like I always did. And then there was a girl, a high school friend of mine. We all worked at the same restaurant, Chevy's Mexican restaurant. I got all my friends' jobs there, and she said, "Hey, my other job, they have an open mic. You should try it. You're funny." And I was like, "I'll do it." I was like 20 years old. I had no idea how to write a joke or like to think of a joke. And then I had my little group of friends, like 50 people in our little area that are all ready to go, and they're all hyping it up. So I'm like, I gotta fucking do it. So I did this little contest. It was called Belo's back then. It was it's on Mill Avenue in Tempe. It's a downstairs piano bar. And I did a little corny contest or whatever, and my friends were all there. I knocked over half the drum set, and but then and that was really it. And then like 9 months later, maybe a year later, I ran into an old roommate who owed me money at the gas station, and she didn't pay me, but she did tell me that there was the Improv was hiring, and I was desperate for a job at the time. But the Improv in Tempe was hiring for waiters and food runners and shit. So I went in and auditioned to be a bartender. That's how long I've been doing this. I fucking applied. I went in. I didn't get the part. That's how everybody should. That's how people should talk about getting jobs is auditioning for art. It won't feel as bad when you don't get the gig. You're like, listen, you got to go to 50 auditions before you even get one call back. No, but and then I got the job. I didn't get the job as a bartender. Which is better because I got to be. As a food runner, I started off running food there, and it was, a maniac gig, but you got to be in the showroom all night listening to all these greats. 2001 is when I started that job. So, I got to see like Mitch Hedberg up 40 times. I got to see, Robert Schimmel. I got to see Ralphie May a whole bunch of times. I got to see like prop John Panette. The list, Richard Jenny, all these guys that aren't here anymore that are just legends. I got to watch them, and I was just running food and just laughing and just. So then there was a few guys there that did open mic, and I just started hanging out with one of them, and then all three of them, and then I just started to kind of flow. I was like, "Fuck it, I'll try it," like here and there. And when I wasn't being a little bitch, I'd go up, and when I was a little bitch, I didn't go up.
Yeah.
And then it just that's how it started. And then I just, along the path of just, always being excited, always promoting. I've always worked like a bartending job or something where I had access to a lot of people to promote shit,
Yeah.
So I got a lot of shows early because in the city because I could bring a party bus full of people. I worked at the best bar in Tempe at the time. It's now been bulldozed due to several fucking tax issues. They bulldozed the place down because it was just too much. We were it was the best bar though in the whole wide world, and I bartended there, so I knew everybody, all the cool people that were all bartending at other bars, and in Tempe, and all the fun people that came. And so our manager, the owner, he went and bought, like, he was making just stupid money, and he went and bought a 1990 or 1985 RV, and he pimped it out to like a 70s kind of feel. And he was just like, all right, he hired a guy to drive it. So all you had to do, anybody at any of his three bars wanted to have a party bus for the night, you just reserve it. You just call and reserve it, and all you had to do was tip the guy. So he had like this party bus service going on. So I was just milking it. No one was using that thing, and I was just using it 5 times a month to take everybody. I'd get a keg on there, or just load it up with beers. And then I just invited everybody who wants to go on a party bus. I got a keg, and you just get on, bro, and just tip the driver $20. So I was just fucking rolling around Tempe, dude, just packing shows, winning all the contests or going to the finals because my friends were voting,
Yeah.
But it gave me like this level of confidence early that I could do this shit. Because if I didn't have that life, I didn't have that luxury of having built-in crowds because of my job and where I lived in my life at the time, I probably would have never continued because I would have been so discouraged because I was such trash. But luckily, they were like my friends, so it was funny to them no matter what. So it built up my confidence to think that I could do this shit.
Yeah.
So I just kept going, then ended up having a great boss who was like, dude, get out of here. Go. He was very adventurous. He now owns, where are you guys located?
Orlando.
Okay. He now owns a monster brewery chain in Phoenix and a distillery chain, 2 in the airport levels shit,
Yeah.
But he was very adventurous. He was always like a kid that hitchhiked around. He'd work all summer, make a bunch of money. Then he'd hitchhike around for 2 years. He's been to like 90 countries just backpacking it around like a dirt ball, like not like nice, but he has this great adventurous attitude. He's always like, what are you doing here? Leave, bro. Go to LA. What is it, the money? If it sucks and you fail, come back. I'll hire you wherever I work.
That's
so cool. I did it, and even to this day, that motherfucker would hire me if I moved to Arizona. He'll say, okay, you want, okay, good. And because he owns, he's a goddamn billionaire now with, 50 amazing bars and restaurants. And, but that's the kind of people that you run into, right? That, not everybody has that mental, like I was very lucky to have such a world traveling kind of carefree go-getter, like fuck what everybody thinks type guy. That was such an influence on me at that moment, in my life.
Yeah. To
make me leave because I was comfortable.
Yeah.
Like that was a great gig, and I was comfortable, and so I left it and went there, and obviously it all worked out, and
Yeah, dude, that's
in the end, but
that's so cool.
But it was, to that day, that guy was just so motivational, and I would just listen. He would just tell us his stories, fucking Portugal or the Ukraine or somewhere in Cambodia, and every night we got to drink for free after work. So we're just sitting there, just knocking down Negro Modelo's, listening to this guy tell his awesome adventures. Yeah. And that's when I went to LA, and then shit got real, and I realized that no more party bus, no more group 50 people coming with me. My jokes are dog shit, and I got a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
Right. So like what happened? I mean, I'm always fascinated by the entertainment industry because, there's a lot of people out there that think they're fucking funny, but there's only so many comedians that are actually getting paid to do shit like you're doing. I don't know if it's a cliche question, but is there kind of that moment, that turning point, that little trigger, that thing that happened in LA that you looking back, you go like, that's the thing that really jumped me off. Like that's the thing that turned everything around for you.
And what happened? It was just nothing really ever turned around. I got a couple of small things that by chance, like I used to work with Felipe Esparza, another this guy's way more fans than me, way more followers, way more. He does theaters and shit, but back then he wasn't, but he had been on Comedy Central, and I respected his hustle and his work ethic, and, and he had TV credits. So he didn't have a car and I did. I started a responsible half life of being a bartender to support myself, and the comedy I would just bob and weave in between it all.
Uh-huh.
And so we kind of worked as a nice team in LA early because I had the car and he had the bookings, so I just get tossed on stage a lot for being there.
Yeah.
All right, go do 5 right now, like fucking go, and I would go. But so a couple times I got on TV, like there was these TV things they were doing, and something happened where somebody wasn't available or someone couldn't show, and I happened to drive this fool. So they're like, he's a fucking comic, he could do it. So I would just do it.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then, so things like that. And when I the movie felt really good. That movie was on Amazon for a little while, and I don't know what happened to it, but it was it was with Felipe and Paul Rodriguez and Edwin San Juan. But that movie really made me feel good because I feel like a lot of times in life, when you're chasing something, and you're really chasing at it, you don't have your, that basic family structure at all because I'm single, no kids, no wife, no girlfriend, parents live far. So, when you're really out there and you could hit lows, a lot of lows, and, but I always seemed like when the biggest low happened, an absolute gem would just pop up like on the exact same day, which always makes me, curious of like the universe and how shit overlaps at the exact times that, look, we're talking 1 in a million odds here. Was the day I got the call for the movie was the day after I had to let my car give it back to the repo. And I was on the bus going to my job in Venice Beach, which took 3 hours. So on that bus ride, I'm feeling like an absolute pig, a piece of shit loser. And that's when I got the call to be in the movie. So it's like the weirdest little things that always happen on that day, the day that the day that I was about to lose an apartment in downtown LA, like I'm 2 months behind in rent. I just ain't working out. Was the day that Gabriel Iglesias, at the exact same day, I find out about the eviction is the exact same day. Well, I mean, I wasn't exactly evicted, like a week or so, but to make it work. Or it was the same day that I got the text to go on tour with him, which I didn't need an apartment then because I was gone from January 1st to July 5th or June 30th. So I put my shit in storage and we were done. And I, you know, and then the 1 month break that we would have in July, I would just crash at my buddy's place. And then we're back out, goners, dude. So, you know, it's always like those moments always make me feel like there's some, like I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I think that there's a gentleman up there. He has long brown hair. He loves to wear a certain kind of robe and he has these sandals. They're open toe. And he has 12 buddies. Like if we think we can barely figure out what the fuck's going on, how we can accept people, like if they have both a vagina and a penis, we're not at a level of understanding the dude that created it all. Like to me, I feel like it's more, you know, I'm more spiritual than religious by a long shot, you know, like, cause I know something's there. That shit doesn't always happen on the exact same day for nothing. There's always something there right when you quit. If you feel it's your true path, I think there's always something right when you're at the point of quitting that makes you keep going. Like, fuck, well, I can't. What am I do to quit now? I fucking just got a movie part. You know, what am I do? Am I gonna quit now? Am I gonna get a regular job now? I just got asked to go on tour with Fluffy. You know, so it's always like that last little. And again, that could also just be me reading it that way. You know, like it's kind of like those TikToks where you see people and they'll have an audio sound playing and it supposedly only says what you're reading. Yeah. Have you seen those?
Yeah, yeah.
Like one side fucking says lobster tail and the other side says green dress.
Yeah.
And it's saying whatever you're reading. I feel like that could also be how this type of shit works, right? Like I know what I want to do, so I'm going to see certain things that could be a sign for me to keep going because that's what I really want to keep doing. But if you're looking for a sign to stop, then I'm sure you can find one. You know, that's what you want to do. So I don't know if that's it or not, but those type of moments are always like that always keep me want to keep rolling, you know?
Yeah. I mean, that shit's cool, man. I mean, it's a testament to if you are really following your passion, you know that this is what you want to do. I believe that too. I mean, there's been a lot of times in my life, and I don't know about you, B, but you know, I've had that type of shit happen too. I was getting ready to give up. Life was shit. My back was against the wall and fucking, dude, I mean, trust me, I've been there with electricity turned off at the house and having to work out a deal with the fucking electric company. People don't know those lows. They see everything that you've done, but it's cool to hear about that, man, because that's the fucking real, dude. You know what I mean? That's what it is, you know? So, well, I do have a question for you. How the fuck do you get into cornhole? Was it something to say you were drinking and like, you're like, fuck, I could commentate for ESPN for this. I'll just do that.
Hell yeah.
It was a slow roll there. I started when I moved to Indiana after comedy was like, you know, I stopped touring with Fluffy in LA and I was living in Long Beach. I had my own room every Tuesday and I had a monthly show. These really fun shows I had at these really cool, unique venues that I always find. But that's all I really had going on and nothing else was popping. And then but I've always worked this club in Indiana, Indianapolis. It was called Morty's. It was there for at least 15 years or something. And these guys were the best, man. Like they treated the comedians the best. It was just the best time. They were like, nobody there was trying to make you feel like you're lower than you are because you're not at a certain level, you know?
Yeah.
And it was always my favorite week. And they were like, hey, one day after years of working with them, you know, I worked up to headline. I was headlining after the couple Comedy Central things. And they're like, we're starting up a group out here in Indiana. And it's kind of like an improv group, but we're not doing improv. We're fucking doing stand-up. And then we'll have during the week, we'll do podcasts, we'll do video stuff. We'll have our own show every Tuesday. And then we'll also get you on with the agency that books our clubs. They had 3 at the time. So that you can also support yourself, you know, while we do this. And I was like, oh, fuck it. I got nothing going on. So I put my shit in storage and I took off to Indiana in 2015. And that's when I met Pat McAfee a few months later. But in Indiana, cornhole is a very big deal. Everybody plays it at any kind of thing going on. There's usually cornhole boards there. And then a lot of times people are taking it extremely serious. Yeah. So I started playing just backyarding it, you know, playing. And then I just slowly started, you know, it gets more and more. You get your own boards. And then I was always playing and I love that shit. And then when I was at Barstool, the American Cornhole League, I talked to them about doing some stuff, and they ended up coming to the office for a promo thing, and they gave me some bags, and they started booking me for like their little celebrity, like I'd come MC their celebrity events, you know? Yeah. And do shit like that for them, because they're really nice people, really good, and I just got along with them well, and we hit it off, and they love that I love playing so much, and so we kept on having a few different events together, and it just kept on. I was really close to being on their ESPN celeb bag thing because at the time if I was at Barstool still, that shit would go viral. Everybody in the office would be tweeting it. So
yeah,
that was the appeal to them. Like, well, put me on, bro.
Yeah.
Anytime anybody in this office gets on, like Trent, the luggage guy, all he did was pull his luggage on the episode of Bachelor from the lobby of the elevator into the elevator, and it went viral and it was fucking huge, and he sold a ton of merch, right? So. Anyways, I ended up not working there no more, and they're still doing it. And so we just had a meeting one day, and they were like, well, we're going to do rookies versus veterans NFL stuff for the players, but what about this we thought of for you? Do color commentary and do all the interviews before and after and talk to the winners or whatever on ESPN. I'm like, fuck yeah. And then so I came to their after that, I went to their event in Florida, and I was just doing commentary on their network, on their digital network, and just playing and doing content and going live and just being a part of it. It's just kind of grown. Now we have our own courts there on every national event, and just having a great time, man. I love playing corner. I want to go pro. As soon as I feel like I'm tired of comedy for a year, then I'll just tour and do events to try to qualify as a pro.
But cornhole is getting like huge. Like I was in college and we'd play. I got my own boards and one named on it and shit. Just because it's funny. Everyone with the cornhole, everyone thinks they're good at cornhole. Like everyone. I fucking kill you in cornhole, right?
There it is.
That's sick.
You gotta have your own bag.
But dude, it's getting huge. Like I'm sitting there. My father-in-law was in town last week, and we're sitting there just shooting the shit, watching TV, flipping through channels, looking, watching basketball and all this shit. And all of a sudden, we see like axe throwing and some random shit on TV, and it's like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then we see cornhole, the ACL. They're doing the big tournament, and we just got sucked in a heartbeat, bro. And you see these guys with 7,500 advertisements on their cornhole jerseys and all this shit. I'm like, damn, these guys must be making some money. They got more advertisers than anyone I've ever seen.
Well, I was just going to ask that. How much money these guys fucking make? Because I want to tell you, I switched the channel. I fell over because I would just change the channels and I see ESPN cornhole and I'm watching it. And it's kind of like, I love golf, right? Brandon's a great golfer. I love golf, right? Some people watch golf and then they fucking fall asleep, right? And then other guys like, dude, you can't watch fucking cornhole. I couldn't stop watching the cornhole. I thought it was cool as shit.
Airmail.
I mean, yeah, exactly. How much money these guys, they make any money or no?
You know what? The top guys, the guys that are constantly on all the television broadcasts, because right now for this year alone, they had 8 or 12 CBS broadcasts, and they have 5 major ESPN broadcasts.
Wow.
The 5 major, or the 5, it's like the majors in golf. That's their national tournaments.
Yeah.
They're 5 national events. And then the CBS is called the CBS Shootout, a little bit changing rules, less rounds to, you got 21 rounds on ESP on the national events. You only get 12 rounds for the CBS events. So there's a little bit more aggressive strategy has to be played by the players.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of time. I mean, the CBS events, some of the other guys are coming from the back of the pack. And you'll get guys like Steve Bernasette, who just won the national singles in Wichita, a couple months back. He was a rookie. But a lot of the guys are the same guys you're going to see once you actually start watching it over and over. You're always going to see Cody Henderson. You're always going to see Matt Guy. You're always going to see Jamie Graham. You're always going to see Trey Birchfield. Those are just people that are all Kaylee Hunter on the women's side, Maya Cup, Allison Peters. These are just they can make cash. I mean, because outside of those major events, so let's say you win. Let's say you cash out on a hot 3 wins, right? You got if you're a 55 because they have seniors competition brackets as well, right? So 55 and over. So and a lot of times the number 1 guy is the 55 and over guys.
That's obviously signing up tomorrow.
Thank you. I'll be there. I look fucking amazing for 55.
I'll get you an application for the senior league.
It'll take 50 gigs, but I'll get it.
Yeah, so some of the guys, one of them, Damon Dennis, for instance, one I'm not sure if he's done it this year, but you can win senior singles, which is probably a few grand. Then you can win the main, singles, which is the biggest one. I think it's $8,000, and then you can win doubles, which could be another 4 or 5 grand. That's just in the one day.
Yeah,
and they do tournaments all the week. They always have during the week. They're doing their blind draws at their home courts or wherever they play at in their city, and then you got these 8 CBS events. You got the 5 nationals, and I'm telling you, it's roughly I'd say a floating 20 names are usually the ones. And then there's usually a few that pop in because there's a lot of people that are just below them.
Yeah.
They'll have just one or two more bad rounds that just take them out instead of getting over that hump. A lot of people are really good at it. I mean, a lot, bro. I'm telling you, you'll be lucky if you can score on any one of the 252 pros. I'm telling you, it's not going to happen.
Dude, you can imagine that money's only going to skyrocket because now that there's more visibility on ESPN, it's going to go bigger and bigger and bigger. Then the advertising money follows suit, and it's going to get bigger and bigger.
Yeah, purses will get a lot larger.
Yeah. That'll be sick.
Well, yeah, and also, I mean, adding 12 or 8 or 12 CBS events, the CBS Shootout, which is, hundreds of thousands of dollars collectively over the whole 8 or 12, So it is getting bigger, and bags are a big deal. Bag companies, people don't know, like this shit. This is they've actually they've doubled in price in the last 2 years.
Yeah,
that's how like now a set of 4 is $68 with shipping.
Yeah,
before a set of 8 was $68 for shipping. You got the double sides. One's the slower side, the faster side. These are the slide rights. One of my favorite bags.
Yeah.
But again, and everybody's got their own bag, so there's a huge bag hustle. Like, we're talking $50, $60, $70 for 4 of them.
Yeah,
damn,
it's crazy.
$80 or something.
Bag business.
They're blowing up.
Their own fucking bag.
You should fucking have Gut Check fucking cornhole bags.
Hell yeah.
I think it's
Good, I'll give you the link. I got my logo, $20 shuff in my bags.
Yeah, I love that, brother. Well, let's talk about that a little bit because I know we started out at barstoolsports.com. I mean, what happened? You decided just to go on your own, do something differently because I know that's where the $20 Chef podcast was at, and your show was. I mean, tell us a little bit about Barstool Sports, what you felt like working there, why you left. I mean, what happened?
It was a great gig, man. I had a great 4-year run. A lot of doors opened, a lot of fun things happened, a lot more amazing experiences. It's a great place to work. It's also it's very cutthroat. It's very fat. I'm not like you can mesh better if you enjoy the argue all style of interaction that like the East Coast kind of thing, a little bit more going on in there. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm a little bit more of a West Coast laid back dude. I'm not really arguing with anybody unless we're about to fight. Like that's just how it is in the West Coast. We don't have heated arguments, talking shit to each other in each other's face, and then just be like, "Okay, see you later."
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just never really. That wasn't my vibe, I guess, and I just ended up just doing my own thing most of the time, anyways, because my stuff's all out of the office. I had the radio show, and that went great for 2 years, almost. It just got to a point where my growth had pretty much stopped there, so. I figured there's other stuff out there, I could try and I could get going with it. There's a lot of streaming services, Netflix, Hulu, like eventually. And now I can also get a lot more stand-up rocking because right now, like I just did Louisville and my shit's on fire.
Love that.
But it's not, but I have to like continually do it in order for it to really be consistently that banging, like without having off days, like anything really,
Yeah.
And, and I just really, it was very cool, like they gave me everything. Like there was no hard feelings. It's okay to leave sometimes. Like if I didn't have any more growth there, let's go, you guys do your thing. Like yeah. I appreciate everything so far. And for now, now people know me everywhere and it's not even about I've been to so many places where people just roll up on me and they don't follow me or anything. They just know just because of that big ass brand,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So so that was it. It was no big deal, I mean, financially it took a little bit of a hit there. But rebuild time. And luckily I did well enough while I was there that I'm not really concerned about it. And because what I got going now is I'm doing a lot of this stuff, podcast stuff. We're doing so much fun stuff, and we're just enjoying it, man. Just having a great time. We're at Indy 500 last week doing stuff for tailgating, inside tailgating, and just having fun filming. We got a producer, we have our editor, producer, camera guy, and he's awesome. So as long as I can run my business like that, I'm happy to try and grow with a new crowd,
Yeah.
Like there's so many crowds out there. Like for as many millions that watch Barstool, there's probably 20, 30, 40 more million that have no idea what that is.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't know what it was. So I moved to Indiana and I found out a year or so into it, like not even right away in Indiana. I had no idea.
Yeah.
That was well into 2016, maybe early 2017 before I even heard of Barstool.
Yeah.
So, but now obviously they've grown exponentially and the key here was that you just got to want to go ahead and buy that dip when COVID hits, and buy a Penn stock when it's down to $7, boys, and solve 2021 problems early.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, tell us about the $20 Chef podcast, dude. I mean, dude, you guys, listen, you're fucking hilarious, dude. I mean, you really are, bro. But I also love, the fact that you guys, well, let's just get us, where did the $20 Chefs spawn from? I mean, how do you get that idea?
Well, I used to, when Snapchat was just coming out. Well, the first time I got on Snapchat, I just realized it was everybody just sending dick pics, and I'm like, well, not really my game. So I just
Zoom wasn't far enough for Brandon, so he didn't get on.
I was trying to use filters on it and shit. I couldn't figure that out.
I almost had to put pants on for this one. No, and but then once I go, oh, this shit's stupid, so I got rid of it. And then once it started going like becoming a normal. Just normal ass social media, not just for dick pics. I got back on it, and then I was just having fun. Like I'd cook at home. Like we all, when I was working for Fluffy, me and my roommates, Martin Moreno, if you know of anything about Gabriel Iglesias.
Yeah.
We were roommates and we cooked a lot, and he would cook a lot. And I would just help him, and I just got into it a lot. Like really, and growing up, my mom cooked it, 6-7 nights a week. Like my family cooked. We didn't really eat out very often, and so I always have a thing for it. Just always tastes better. Home food is just better.
Yeah.
I mean, overall, like I crave my mom's cooking. Like I would rather than go to a restaurant. I'd rather have my mom cook whatever she makes.
Yeah. But
then I started cooking a lot, and I started liking it. And then when Snapchat came around, I started doing my little videos, fucking around with the towel and just talking shit and having fun, and while I made my meals, and then people would start to really be receptive to it. And then when I started working with Pat McAfee, and he was like, all right, let's start doing, he basically opened up his own, multimedia shop of a sense. He's like, all right, I'm going to start, we started doing a show. We had the podcasts. And then he's like, well, for video content, what do you want to do? And I was like, I don't know. I got this cooking. I do this cooking shit on Snapchat, and people seem to like it. I just kind of mix the jokes in with the cooking and being really shitty at cooking. And he's like, all right, well, let's try it. So we just started trying it. And then just kind of slowly developed into something people liked, and then started getting sponsors before I even had a contract,
that's cool.
And that's Frank's Red Hot bought like 12 episodes or some shit like that. Pretty like around episode 60 or 50 or something like that, which is pretty, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Maybe episode 40, I don't remember. But that's when things got well. That's when, I'm like, oh, well, he's already sold this much and he hasn't even a contract. So then I got a decent contract out of that for the first time. And then we just kept doing it. He just kept doing it. I just kept doing it and kept doing it. And then I decided I wanted to do it at my house instead of at the office. And then, and that started to do really, really well with sales. And it just kept going and kept growing. And then when Pat quit Barstool, they just offered me a deal to go there. And it was a lot more money than I was making there. Than Indy. So I couldn't say no. I was like, well, and plus that was the goal anyways. Pat, he was kind of grooming me to run off, leave the nest, Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't, and I did. And New York was awesome for the couple of years. The first year was wonderful. Second year was pretty dog shit because that's COVID, but
yeah. So,
it stalled out too. I had a lot of stuff happening. I had pilots that I shot and ideas, and I had 3 or 4 different pilots that I was pitching that were, trying to get those shows made on top of Chef, because you got to keep on being aggressive with what you're putting out. You can't just rely on the one product forever.
Yeah.
And that's where it came from. And that's where it keeps building. And even now I've just been buying a couple more things for my outdoor studio, and just want it to be cool as shit. And, because I'm about to go, we've been doing episodes. I got one coming out this week with I did an episode with Master Chef Shaun O'Neill from Master Chef season 7 winner.
Mm-hmm.
Recently, and I got some really fun episodes I shot last week in Indy. Some are on, I have to try to just kind of keep it moving, however I can move it, however I can change it up, just to keep it fresh in some ways. But as long as the material is there, and I look at it like almost like a comedy set when I do the show. I go, okay, what bits have I always have to write down the shit as it happens throughout the day. And then I go back and pick off 3 or 4 that I want to work with that I can try out. And if I'll do them, if they're shit, they don't really hit, I'll be like, I don't know about that one. And my editor will be like, all right, I'll tell you if I can make it work. And then if the bit didn't, I'll do 3 or 4 jokes, sometimes 5. And if 3 of them really weren't flying, then I did some other dumb shit that helped make people laugh. Then I'll cut those 3 out and try them again after I kind of tweak them a little bit, like a set, like comedy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what I like the most is just the jokes, getting this. I got one coming out that is going to be one of my favorite ones of all time. I'm on a fucking lawnmower with the bullhorn and, I was the short ribs, Mexican short ribs. I'm letting the Koreans know we're coming for their shit. You know what I mean?
Let me ask you this. Brandon's really good at grilling, by the way. Do you think you could make a fun show with Brandon on your show with that forehead? I mean, outside it might be tough, but he's a pretty good fucking griller.
I see you coming back to the forehead. I think that's his only joke. We need to get the editors on his jokes because it's his only fucking joke.
Well, I think what we could do is maybe we could either talk to an airbrush artist or some a tattoo artist. We can make it look like an actual grill.
I want that Gaussian or whatever the fuck you said.
The Gaussian blur. Maybe a motion blur.
Do you think you'd have 1 or 2 viewers if Brandon was cooking steaks on $20 Chef?
You might lose some subscribers, so I don't know. You don't want to be careful about that. But so like,
you could draw the chef's hat just on the head of people look like the whole chef's hat up there. It's like, does the chef's hat have?
I'm loving this.
I'm gonna do that for the cover art for this fucking episode when it comes out.
There it is.
That's awesome, dude.
So talk to me about like the comedy, because comedy is obviously, I don't know, from my perspective at least, it seems to be kind of your foundational thing. That's where you started. You keep doing it with the comedy thing, and I was in a non-creepy way looking at your Instagram and seeing that you were doing like comedy tour right now. How does that work? How does that go? Do you hit a different city every night? Like, talk to me a little bit about that.
No, I wish. Not right now, that hardcore. I just get dates. I have an agent that helps. I have a management agent, and I'm just slowly getting dates. It's not the easiest right now because everybody's trying to get the dates all at once. Before we were in a nice flow. Everybody had their dates, and it was all spaced out accordingly. Then all of a sudden it all got cut off, and now it's a race for dates. And I'm not just me and guys around me. It's me versus, Tom Segura's, and I'm not saying that in a matter of a competition. I'm just saying like everybody's going for the same dates at the same time now because it's, until it flattens back out and smooths back out, and so yeah, I got like a Des Moines, Iowa coming up next weekend, or June 18th and 19th. I got Philly July 1st at the Helium Comedy Club, and I got Louisville in August, I think the 20th and the 21st.
When are you coming to Orlando?
You know what? I got to get in touch with the club there, but because I go to Orlando a lot because my girl's family lives down there half the year.
Okay.
So, we end up, me and my girl look at houses there all the time too.
Dude, it's
maybe move there.
Is it the Improv that you go to?
I have never played at the Improv. You know what? Honestly, like most of the stuff I've done is either Jacksonville or like in South. Like I've headlined and co-headlined the Improv in like, West Palm. There's another one down there somewhere, Fort Lauderdale. I don't know if it's the same one. I think they're 2 different ones.
So like when you do a comedy tour like that, do you write a set of jokes or however you're supposed to say it, and you do that same set on that one tour? You're always doing the same shit, or do you have different content for each show?
It depends. If you're working on something specific for a certain TV spot. But, you always have your main set, I'd say. Like, guys have their 45. Now, you could have 2 hours of material, but, you're going to have your favorite minutes that you want to put together, your favorite 45. But also it depends on, like, if some shit comes up in the crowd. Like, if I have jokes about 100 topics and then one of those topics comes up but wasn't necessarily in my set, I'll flow with it to make it seem like it's organic as fuck. Like, wow, this guy thought of that shit off the skull. Like, there is a bit of magic with stand-up, you know what I mean? Like there are, and the longer you do it, the more bits you have in your arsenal for shit to unfold, and you look like a fucking genius,
Yeah.
But a lot of it, but for the most part right now, I have like an hour of material, and I'll, there'll be a 15-minute exchange of possibilities. Then there's always stuff that could happen while you're there during the day that you could bring up. That's, in kind of local fashion. But I also am a big crowd work dude. And I don't mean like, I don't go, hey, how's it going, sir? Where are you guys from? Yeah. So how long have you guys been dating? Yeah. How's it going, sir? Wow, you sure are grumpy.
Yeah.
I'm more of like I tell people what I think they're doing. Like I first of all, I'm very enthusiastic with them. I'm very like, let's fucking get them. I want them to be happy I'm speaking about them.
Yeah.
You know, I walk up to them, like, look at this fuck. Like, I see you two out front. Like, look at these two players. Damn, Triple OG. Look at this fucking strong ass dude. This guy's gonna rip the table off, throw it across the room if shit ain't going his way. Oh, then you got your buddy over here. The fuck, you guys look like you like the white shadow of this kid. You got, you know, like I'll just start going, like, you know, in a fun way, like, hey, calm down, big guy. Not trying to, this guy working out a fucking 48-hour fitness, not enough hours in one day. You know, like,
I felt like you were talking about Brandon and I there.
100% was.
Yeah.
but I also do stuff about my lazy eye up front, you know, so we all know, like, listen, I got an eye. This is what's going on. This is how my life is affected by it. I got a couple of minutes worth of shit about it. I'll talk to you about my eye, and then we're just going to have a good time. And like, I'm making fun of you for things that we all wish we could have. Like, I'm talking to you about you looking strong. Yeah. Like, what are you going to do? Get mad? Like, no, you're not going to get mad. You work hard on it for a fucking reason, you know? Like,
yeah.
So it's always something, you know, I'll a lot of times if it's, you know, sometimes the crowd don't give it to me. So I won't, you know, I don't ever force it because you can't force it ever. It just doesn't come off funny. So I'll lean more on the material. But like in Lexington a month ago, man, they were just open and great, and the energy was unbelievable. It was at the Comedy Off Broadway Club, and I have like 9 or 10 people in my storyline, you know, throughout the night, so I can bob and weave and go back and forth from storylines, and if any of my jokes, I can figure out a way to tag them into it, you know, I will, you know, and I'll hit them and I get going, and it's just there's nothing better like that as far as the connection, because you're only saying positive shit even when you're talking shit. They're all included, but it's in a fun way. So it's kind of like you're at a house party, you know, and there's this one guy just kind of holding court, but in a good way, you know, talking shit, having fun, getting hammered along with you guys, you know. Like, and a lot of times I even look way drunker than I am because I just kind of like to, you know, sometimes I just kind of do it, you know. And if it's a body language thing, I don't know, it's a mirror, the crowd, I don't know what it is, but you know, people want to just think that they're hanging out with somebody that's funny as fuck and they're not really at a show, like they're part of it.
That's the best part of comedy. That's the best part of comedy for me is that right there. Mm-hmm. You know, and also, you know, a lot of guys that insult a lot of people, which is, you know, some people get offended and some people can have opinions on that. But I wanted to ask you, what's the fucking craziest thing that's ever happened to you on stage?
Oh man, I've gotten in several fights, several.
No shit.
Yeah, because I like to fuck around and have a good time, but if someone wants to get a little stupid and very aggressive with it, you know, like it happens. Like, you know, I've had bottles thrown at me, dudes rush me. I've gotten some nice scraps. Let's see if I tell the one I'll tell you. This one was great. I won't tell you it was in Phoenix. This is probably like in 2013 or something like that. Yeah, I'd say about then. And I had already been on TV once, you know, so I was already, you know, I already had like a little bit of establishedness happening. Of established career, and we're talking minimal establishment, but still. And I happened to be on this random date, and there was, you know, I was in Phoenix. That's where I started at, you know, and I was talking to this girl about it or whatever on a patio, and the waiter must have somehow knew when I was on a show I'd done before, and he was like, "Dude, there's an open mic, dude, like 2 doors down. You got to go down there and do it, man." And then the guy's like, I'll go get you. I'll go tell him what's going on. So he's like, all right, comes back. He goes, don't worry. They're fucking pumped. You're here. You close out the show. And I was like, all right, whatever. So I'm with the chick. She's like, all right, I'll go with you. You know, we'll go over there. So I walk in, and it's a Tuesday night, first of all, in Phoenix downtown, which is look, there's some nice stuff going on down there, but it's not like it's packed. Well, it's not Manhattan. Okay.
Yeah.
I go in and it's the worst crowd I'd ever heard. Like, I didn't mean worse like by not laughing. I mean by being disrespectful. Oh, like yelling shit out. Like, why do you do this type shit? Right. Well, we're at an open mic, and I feel like this was also a gay bar, but I can't remember if that was it or not. It was just a lot of gay people there, but I couldn't remember that. But either way, there was a group of people all wearing fluorescent shirts, like pink and orange and yellow, and like that neon yellow and neon green, right? They had just done like some kind of like walk for something, right? Which is even more mind-blowing to me. I'm like, how are you going to go walk for a cause and then come heckle the homies? Like,
yeah.
What kind of shit is that? You're going to go over there and you leave all your niceness here at the diabetes walk, but you can't but you come in here and you're a prick, like 14 of you? And I was just in the back, and I was in a real deep whiskey phase at that point in my life. And I'm just in the back getting tanked up, bro, listening to these fucks, man. And then I wanted nothing to do with them. I was so mad. And I walk up there and they give me a nice ass intro, and I'm just thinking it go good. And I go up there and I'm like, who the fuck do you people think you are? Who do you think's going to come to your fucking bar in downtown Phoenix on a Tuesday? You think Richard Pryor's going to roll up in here, you dumb fucks? It's Tuesday. It's an open mic. I go, I'm not telling you guys one joke. None of you pigs deserve it. Like, I'm going off, right?
Oh, shit. Love that. And
they're yelling it out, dude. Fucking, you suck. Say a joke, right? And I'm like, I ain't saying shit to you bitches, right? I'm just going to sit out here and just talk shit. And then I said, you know why I could sit here and talk shit? Because I look around this room and I could beat the fuck out of anybody in here. So it's not really a threat to me to be in here talking shit. And then right when I said that, all you hear is like a bar stool in the back, like when someone gets up fast and you hear the stool go, And this dude is just coming at me at a pretty good pace, bro. Right down the gut. Right down the gut of the show. And I'm like, all right. I go, all right. So I put the mic down. And right when he gets up to the stage, he's trying to come up on the stage. And I just take this dude with this like hardest push that I can physically do with my 230-pound body and just launch this kid. And he hits a chair and the chair has wheels on it. So like stepping out of the moment, it was unbelievably awesome because I launched a kid. He goes flying into the fucking chair and then he wheeled all the way to the back. Right? And fucking I hop off and now all the fluorescent shirts surround me like a half moon, bro. And I'm fucking squared off right here. Like, let's go. Someone make a move, fucking fluorescent shirts. And then the bartender kicked my ass out, which was wild. I'm like, buddy, the guy rushed me. So he's like, all right, go out front. Fucking go out front, bro. This little cornball. I give him a little smack in the mouth. Not a big deal. The comedians basically carried me out of there like I was fucking Troy. And then
dude, if I saw that shit,
dropped me off, and that was a wrap. She never called me again.
Dude, she had a hell of a date story, though, right? She's like,
yeah.
You would never fucking believe this from a different perspective. God, if I was in the crowd and I saw that shit, I would definitely go to your next show. I'm like, what's this motherfucker gonna do?
Imagine the girl now, right? Sees he's a fucking ESPN commentator. She's like, fuck, I should have stayed with him.
I probably would have broke up with her either way. That's that light skinned. I mean, that's thin skin, not light skinned. That'd make that racial for no reason.
I was wondering where you were going to go with that. I'm like, listen, I'm not going to take offense to this, but
well, you're you're as light skinned as it gets, Brandon. So I'm saying, you give a new definition to white for sure. So well, dude, man, listen, we could talk for hours, man. Shaun, first and foremost, man, I can't thank you enough for being on, dude. I mean, it's funny as shit because a lot of our stuff, it's business minded, it's raw, it's real. We want people to hear from real people, just giving the real fucking shit, and that's what you did, man. We appreciate that so much. I ask everybody this, man, because you didn't know me. I just I did aggressively troll your Instagram and different people. We're selective in who we want on the show. That being said, for you and yourself, like, why did you say you didn't fucking know me, and you don't have to say yes, and fucking you did. And I ask a lot of these guys this, but you're whether you say it or not, dude. I mean, you've done some pretty extraordinary fucking things. You didn't have to say yes. So why yes to the podcast? If you don't mind me asking.
I don't know why not. Like the people that ask me whether it's whether they have 330 followers or 300,000, like, if I see the really, you guys are obviously, I can look at your shit and be like, you guys got your shit together and this is a legitimate show. So of course, why wouldn't I want to do it? Meet two more guys, meet more people that are interesting and awesome, and and if you can ask, why, fuck it. Because I like to. I had Mike Epps on my cooking show because I fucking asked him.
Yeah,
like that was
so
it.
Cool,
right?
Like they had a booking department at Barstool, but I just said, I want Mike Epps on my shit. I love this dude.
Yeah.
So I just hit him up, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll do it next time I'm in New York." And I followed up, and he did it. And it's just, I don't know. I just think like I wanted that to almost go forward as well. Like why wouldn't you want to do something like this? Like to me,
Yeah.
And also like. When guys have like, they have like 100 followers or 80 followers, right? And they're just trying to hustle their little grind and then get their shit together. When they ask me, I'm like, well, these guys have the balls to ask. Well, I'll fucking do theirs. And it'll, and also it'll, and this doesn't apply to you guys, but like guys that have like 100 followers and they're trying to get their podcast off or whatever that is they're doing. Like, that's one of those moments for them. Like this, I know, like to me, I ain't shit. Like I'm just this dude, right? Like I like playing Call of Duty and fucking doing comedy, right? Cooking, and I like cooking when after a couple of bowl rips and a couple of Modelo's, And but if they feel like I'm a guy that they're almost nervous to ask, I'll definitely do their shit. Like if you have the balls, first of all, to even want to do a podcast and think that you could do one, and that's your thing and you want to do it, and then you just say fuck it and you ask me, I'll do it. I'm gonna okay, let's do it. I've done probably in the last year, I've probably done more of those than your guys are larger, just because I think that they might see that I'm doing it. Other little buddy podcasts,
Yeah.
So like whether it's one of them, whether it's somebody with you guys with an actual presence and you have an audience, or anybody else, like I just feel I'm just happy people ask me. I'm just like, wow, thanks. I'm flattered. Like, thank you for wanting me to come do your podcast. Like that's how I feel about it, really.
That's cool as shit, dude.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. It's cool too because we've talked to a lot of people, and we've talked everyone from motivational speakers to people that are literally worth $1 billion in building and selling businesses, and just all these different types of people. And generally everyone has some commonalities, and there's a lot of quote unquote entrepreneurs. Everyone's a fucking entrepreneur now, but I love having someone like you on the show. You're just it's a different personality. You're an entrepreneur in the different things that you do, but everyone looks a little different. I obviously look very much different than fucking Todd.
Yeah, you're not even close to as handsome. So
you know what I mean? But it's just cool because you've got a massive level of success and you're doing a lot of really cool shit. But you don't look like me. I don't look like you. You don't look like the guy over here that's $1 billion. Everyone's a little different, but everyone is really also the same in their entrepreneurial mindset and doing really just cool shit and being open to people and having conversations and having a good time. So I appreciate you being on, brother. Can't thank you enough.
Yeah, man.
No, man. Thank you guys so much for asking and being cool as shit and just having me on, man. I really appreciate it. Next time I'm in Orlando, we got to figure out a way to hook up.
Hit us up.
Definitely, man. My buddy Alex Yu runs the Improv here in Orlando, and they've had some pretty fucking badass headliners. So I'm going to connect you guys, man. Maybe you guys can get down here to Orlando. We'll have a fucking few beers before you get on, and we'll go from there.
That'd be great, man. I love Orlando. It's a great place.
Good shit, man. Well, listen, guys, anybody watching or listening to this now, you can follow Shaun at Shaun Latham. It's ShaunLatham at $20 Chef, and his podcast is Guns Blazing Pod. Guys, follow this guy. He's an absolute real dude. You heard him say it. He just likes to do stuff for people that fucking ask, dude. That's awesome. Oh, and he's got a Guns Blazing sticker holding to his forehead, if you're listening, that is not large enough for Brandon's. So I need 4 of them. That's it. But Shaun, thank you again, man. We're super honored, dude. We wish you the best of luck, man. And I'm going to connect you in Orlando, man. And hopefully we get together soon, brother.
Hey guys, you guys too. Keep up the good work, and thanks again. And hope to run into you guys in Orlando.
Amen, brother. We'll talk to you soon, man. See you, brother.
Later, guys.
All right, man. Dude. My cheeks fucking hurt.
You just love that he talked about my fucking forehead. That's the only reason.
Dude, we usually go over the best moments of the podcast. That was my favorite moment of any podcast we've ever done.
I just want to be clear. At the end of that part of the conversation,
he felt bad because you look the way you do.
He's not a guy that feels bad and just tells you what you want.
This was a nice guy. He may say fuck a lot.
He's going to tell you exactly what he thinks.
Smoke a couple bowls, but
exactly what he thought was yours is.
No. He may have been.
What did he say? It's a race or something.
No. He's just a dead heat, but he's wrong.
Dead heat.
He's wrong. He was.
Thanks for saying that. No, it's a dead heat.
He said it making you feel good.
Same exact.
You know what? I hope that you guys, if you're watching this, rewind Brandon's facial expression. I literally text Shaun in the middle of the podcast. Said, Shaun, don't go too hard. And that's when he said we were dead heat. So that was it.
Oh, yeah.
But bro, I loved it. And especially the moment when he said you could literally, and it's funny how he never talked more about my forehead. He kept going back to yours when we asked him about cooking. And he said you could literally paint the entire chef hat on your head. So you can't argue that, but let's just talk about the show anyways.
I'm just glad we can give this podcast some content that people love. That's all. So you're fucking welcome,
dude. That's called dripping. That's marketing. So dripped forehead. Sorry. It's going to be the viral. Your forehead's going viral. But but listen, dude.
I should create Instagram account for isn't that a good idea?
Bisque. forehead, or the real forehead, B-Bisc, right? The real forehead.
We'll think of names.
We'll move on.
Let's brainstorm.
But how cool is it? The guy was on Barstool Sports.com and talked about the different environment. You know, he was like, yeah, man. He's like, look, they're a fucking great company. He goes, they just do things differently. It's an East Coast versus West Coast kind of thing. He likes to smoke a couple bowls, chill, relax, smile, move on, be successful.
He's a West Coast dude.
And he's like, in that environment, they were like, fuck you, we're gonna argue, and then okay, Brandon, we'll see you tomorrow. Be happy, right?
Yeah.
It's cool to hear that about, because it's such a massive platform to be on. It's
cool. I mean, it definitely, and he said it. I mean, it helped him. It was like a launching pad, so to speak, because he got so much visibility from Barstool, and Barstool's fucking huge now.
Well, he talked about Trent, the fucking luggage guy, right? Like he's like, is Trent the fucking dude? He carried fucking someone's luggage from in the back. The guy's viral, merch. And now he sold a shit ton of merch.
Yeah.
For those of you listening, though, I mean, if you didn't hear that or pick that up, well, you should listen to it now. It took one fucking guy carrying luggage with the right platform, and he got fucking rich selling merchandise as Trent, the fucking luggage guy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's cool as fuck. I mean, if you think anything is possible. Anything's possible. And
we've talked about marketing before, and that's all that is marketing.
That's it. Yeah.
All it is.
It comes down to, because you can't sell anything unless you have the marketing. That's another prime example, right?
100%.
But yeah, dude, what was your best part of the show?
Dude, I mean, I don't know. I just love his story about when he got in that fight at the stand-up. Like, I was gonna try and think of like something really like super powerful that he said or whatever, but that story is fucking awesome, and I could like see it happening in my mind.
I was visualizing the bar.
I would love to be there.
Like, I was picturing him.
I would have been a fluorescent shirt guy, but I would have loved to be there.
Well, yeah. We would have been punching the fluorescent shirt guys that were forcing him to get out. We've been there. Well, that's a whole nother fucking podcast. But I was visualizing it too. I see him on stage, and I see him fucking mashing some dude rushing on stage, falls back, and then I pictured, I don't know about you, I pictured the pushback in the chair. A very long,
like a hallway.
Like a hallway, right?
Yeah.
Like and then there's a bar back there, and I just see the guy like, fucked up, leaning backwards. Like I don't know, it was great.
I pictured the same thing.
It's
like
a great
like
feeling,
just
dude.
A dead hallway. But that was my favorite part. That story is hilarious, and he's just cool and funny as shit.
Well, isn't it crazy that so many people have fucking rushed the stage? Like I wouldn't know that unless I asked him. I wouldn't think people would have the balls to continuously rush in. He's like, dude, I've been fucking rushed multiple times.
You got to be pretty shit faced. I feel like I don't think sober. Well, maybe. I don't know if sober people would do
I think
that.
you have to be shit-faced. I agree.
Yeah.
You got to be pretty fucked up. I mean, and again, it's fucking Shaun Latham. It's not like Brandon Biscuit's on stage. Fucking anybody would drink, But that being said, I mean, like, you do have to have some balls. And I think you have to be fucked up. And it's well beyond a couple drinks.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love that.
Well, I want to get him in Orlando, dude. I mean, this guy it wasn't just how, you can just see how real he was. And the best thing was, he's like, dude, if fucking somebody's got 80 followers or 100 and they got the balls to fucking ask me, I'm going to do it. I think it's just really cool to see how grateful people are to be in the positions they are. That's what Gut Check is about, right? It's, again, real people. We say it all the time, bringing authentic knowledge to people and giving them their heart. I mean, that's what he did. He's like, dude, I don't have to fucking say yes to anybody, but if they got the fucking balls, fuck it. Why not pay it forward?
Well, you're right. It's cool because he's thinking about them. He goes, listen, if I'm the dude that they think is gonna, bring followers and all this other shit, if I'm the guy that they think is gonna add value there, then I want to be that guy for him.
Yeah.
So fuck it.
Well, he also said about Mike Epps, he's like, dude, fucking, I just reached out and asked the motherfucker, and that's why he was on my show. It's like, and that's what we do, right? We again, starting. If you guys are listening now, you're starting anything. It's really having the balls to fucking do it, right?
Do it.
You just got to fucking do it, you guys. He's a prime example. Shaun Latham is a fucking superhero, in my opinion. He's a cool ass dude. He's as real as it gets. He's on tour. Find him wherever you can. Again, at Shaun Latham at $20 Chef at Guns Blazing Pod, and hopefully we'll connect soon with this guy because he's cool as fuck.
Hell yeah, I'm gonna get my own bags now.
Dude, you're not good though.
I'll fucking start, dude.
You're not good
I'm gonna be on the ACL by tomorrow.
You're not. There's zero chance that Shaun Latham is going to commentate you on.
Have you actually ever played cornhole?
I beat you in Missouri. We'll end it right there.
I'm sure you did. Oh, that was after
Closed.
You were drunk, dude. You are maybe drunk still.
Closed. If you love this guest as much as we did, please follow them on all their social media platforms. The way to support us is to like and comment on all your favorite episodes. And please don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notification for the next Gut Check Uncut.